welcome back. I have with me Vegas News Review's owner, publisher, Dave Robbins. If you have not been to the website, vegasnewsreview.com, you are missing a tremendous insight on what is actually going on here in the Valley. Great articles written from a perspective of someone who's been here for 30 some odd years. I'll let him tell you that without giving away his age and so on, but also a retired Metro police officer. Dave, as always, pleasure having you here.
Thanks, Rick.
By the way, I noticed something. You didn't come into fourth segment. It's because we're still from last night and you and Miriam and having a...
Well, I recover very well, so...
No, you did great. Yeah, you did great. But it was a good time last night.
Yes, it was.
All right.
Wonderful food.
Wonderful food, good time, everybody was there. Yeah, things like that always make me happy because we get to share it.
Right.
And I know that that's such a huge part of what you do, and the core reasons why you even started writing VegasNewsReview.com was because of sharing.
Right, and I think people need to learn. Sometimes they have a misconception of what's really going on. Mm-hmm. Sometimes because of the media, they watch TV too much or watching movies, and they think that's the way real life really is. And I try to get them on that straight path.
You know, and the thing is, in the information you have, there's so much. I don't want to call it a hot subject, but one of the things that's been talked about over and over for the last several months have been pedestrian accidents. And I'm not looking to really belittle the point, but the thing is, when you and I were having a cup of coffee, which we usually do at our favorite little place over there at Craig and Teneo, I'm not going to say what name it is, but it's got kind of a star. Anyway, we'll sit there and have a cup of coffee and talk about these things. And I was really surprised to find out that sometimes it's not always the pedestrian's fault, and it's not always the driver's fault, and sometimes it just gets all convoluted, and people get confused.
Even sitting there having a cup of coffee, we've actually looked at the road and saw violations happening.
Oh yeah, well that's a given. This is Nevada.
The last instance was with a young lady that got run over by a school bus, and even the witnesses at the scene said we're all to blame. And what did they mean by that? Well, there's a lot of cars there, there's a lot of kids there, there's a school bus, right. Kids are running around. So again, with education, it starts with being able to be taught and learning about certain types of things. And I knew this years ago, this was going to happen. I predicted it, because with the advent of new technology, the handheld phones, the handheld gaming devices, the music devices, working school zones. When I was working as a motor officer, we would always get complaints of the schools. Every single school in the Valley, the parents call and complain about some kind of traffic violations, and it's always about the cars. I love working school zones because people don't pay attention, whether it be they're in a hurry or whatever. But that's not always the problem. A lot of the problem are the pedestrians. I've sat there and watched kids, adults, just walk directly into the path of moving cars. And sometimes it's a game with them. So, I mean, who's teaching these kids to do this? It's somebody's responsibility. And even as a civilian, right, you walk around, you go to the restaurants, and what do you see? People sitting around, they're playing on the phones.
Oh, sure.
And the attention is diverted. So I think it's an overall education process that we have to do. The schools need to be involved, and they are. The officers need to be involved, and they are. The parents need to be involved, and the kids need to be involved as well. So it's a kind of a totality of all the circumstances. I was
just telling you, just as we were getting ready to start this, that I had a situation where literally a gentleman, not at a corner, not at a crosswalk, started to step out in front of me. Okay, and I'm driving. I wasn't making a right-hand turn on red or anything. I mean, I'm in my lane, right? And he just starts walking across. The assumption is that under quote-unquote Nevada law, that if there's a pedestrian crossing, wherever they're crossing, the vehicle must come to a stop. Turns out there's a black and white, true story, black and white's behind me. I hit the brakes. I let the guy go ahead and walk. I turn around and start to pull. Once he's across and I start to go forward, the siren comes on. I'm going, okay, he's going to pull me over because I've done something wrong. I don't know what, but I know I've done something wrong. And no, he pulls over and grabs the pedestrian and goes, come here, because it wasn't a crosswalk.
They have those traffic control devices, and they're for cars and pedestrians. Mm-hmm. If it says don't walk, you don't walk. Even though there's a crosswalk there and everybody thinks if you're in the crosswalk, you have the ultimate right of way, that's not necessarily true. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're in the crosswalk, you're kind of sort of protected, but that's the reason why that red light's there or the don't walk sign. Same with a car. Red light means don't go through.
It's absolutely amazing. Dave, there's so many things that we can talk about, and there's so many things that you've written about. And the information you provide is good, it's sound, it's legitimate, and can, in fact, save people's lives in many cases. And not just when it comes to law enforcement, but on so many different subjects. So, as always, I want to thank you again for sharing part of your day with us. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for sharing your day with us as well. Tomorrow, we'll be back with a lot more on Let's Talk News Now. Talk to you soon.